everyone! Today I'm going to show you a super simple way to turn your long-form videos into a steady, consistent stream of shorts, clips, and social media content without completely losing your mind in the process. Make sure you stick around all the way to the end of this video so you don't miss the little tips that actually save time, and let's jump right into the workflow. First off, go ahead and open up whatever application you normally use to manage your long-form footage, but for today's demonstration, just imagine you have a 1-hour talk, a podcast episode, or a long tutorial that you want to squeeze out some consistent short clips from. That is exactly where Vizard comes into play, and I am going to walk you through the entire process from the initial raw upload all the way to the final scheduled post so you can copy the exact flow that I use. Okay, so step 1 is simply getting your long video file into the Vizard dashboard. You can either upload the file directly from your computer or simply link a cloud file. And honestly, the upload experience is way cleaner and faster than a lot of other tools I have tried. Once the file is successfully in the system, Vizard starts analyzing the footage automatically in the background. I know that sounds like standard marketing speak, but for real, it scans for highlights like laughs, topic changes, high energy moments, and things people actually want to watch as a short video. While some platforms force you to manually scrub for clips and spend forever editing, Vizard pinpoints the interesting bits, so you do not have to do the heavy lifting yourself. It is not perfect every single time, but it definitely nails the majority of good cuts on that very first pass. Now, here's the part where most people mess up. They either over-edit their content or they undercut the actual point. Vizard gives you a set of ready-to-post clips that are basically a perfect first draft, and you can refine them in just a few seconds. You can easily trim the footage, add punchy captions, choose specific aspect ratios for TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram, and even select different intro or outro styles. The interface is laid back and intuitive, so you are not stuck learning a complicated timeline or wrestling with weird, outdated export settings. One feature I really love is the auto-editing viral clips tool. I will be totally honest, a lot of the so-called auto-edit tools out there just spit out generic snippets that feel super robotic. Vizard, though, uses specific signals like vocal emphasis and visual changes to pick slices that are actually watchable and engaging. It is not quite magic, but it is the absolute closest thing to handing your long video over to a professional editor who already knows what tends to go viral. If you are a creator who does not want to spend 3 straight days slicing a single episode into 30 clips, this is a total game changer. Another big win is the built-in auto-schedule functionality. Once your clips are polished, you can set exactly how often you want posts to go out, whether that is daily or just a few times a week, and Vizard will queue them up across your platforms. No more digging through random folders to manually post, or exporting then reopening 5 different apps to get things live. You can schedule it once and just forget about it. This is exactly where Vizard beats a lot of other software that either forces you to manually post everything or makes you pay for a separate scheduling tool. Look, some of those competitors advertise auto-posting, but their calendars are clunky or their scheduling is just an extra paid add-on. With Vizard, the scheduling is baked right into the workflow and actually works perfectly every time. Speaking of calendars, the content calendar in Vizard is incredibly useful. You can see what is currently scheduled, drag and drop to reorder your posts, and preview exactly how clips will look on each specific platform. For teams, you can even add notes or approvals so your editor and content manager are not accidentally posting conflicting stuff. A lot of platforms make you bolt on a separate project management tool for this, which is fine if you love paying for more complexity. Vizard keeps it all in one place and makes the whole experience feel smooth and professional. Now, I do not want this to sound like a cheesy infomercial because there are things Vizard is not trying to be. It is not a full-blown, minute-by-minute professional editor like Premiere or Final Cut, so you won't be doing heavy visual effects here. That is totally fine, because most creators do not actually need that level of complexity for simple social clips. What you actually need is speed, consistency, and smart automation that still leaves you in full control of the output. Vizard really nails that sweet spot. Let me give you a quick comparison, since people always ask me about alternative tools. There are cheaper apps that do single clip exports or mobile-only solutions that handle one platform well, but just do not scale. Then you have enterprise platforms that are powerful but are incredibly expensive and overloaded with features you will never use. Those can cost hundreds per month and still force you to stitch together separate scheduling or analytics tools. Vizard sits right in the middle, more capable than a one-trick app, but much more affordable and user-friendly than those enterprise suites. The trade-off is that you won't get every niche, pro-level audio or visual effects tool in the same package. But for repurposing long-form content into consistent, polished shorts, it is the most time-efficient choice I have tried. Okay, let's do a practical demo moment. Imagine your video is a 40-minute episode with some strong 30 to 60-second moments. Upload it, let Vizard scan, then click the suggested clips to start editing. You will see options to auto-add captions, which is super important because 70 to 80% of people watch these videos on mute. I always pick subtitles that do not take up the bottom quarter of the frame because viewers' eyes really hate text that interferes with faces. You can tweak font size and placement in just a couple of clicks. Also, if you want some variety, Vizard can output multiple versions of the exact same clip. One with captions, one without, one with a quick animated intro, and one with a call to action. That really helps when you want to A/B test which format performs better on a specific platform. I tested this out across a few episodes and was genuinely shocked how often the captioned version beat the plain cut by a massive margin. Here is a tiny but life-saving tip. Always label your long-form files clearly before you upload them. If you are doing batch uploads, name them like episode 23 guest name date. It sounds totally obvious, but once you are 20 episodes deep, not doing this becomes a total mess. Vizard search and tagging help, but good file hygiene is still your best friend. One more real-world snag I want to call out. If your source video has no voice or is just music only, the auto clip selection that relies on speech emphasis will not be as sharp. That is true of almost every AI editor out there. In those cases, Vizard still works. You will just need to help it a little more by marking timestamps or choosing highlights manually. It is not ideal, but it is still way faster than doing everything from scratch. Before I wrap up, let's talk about team workflows. If you have collaborators, like an editor, a social media manager, or a client, Vizard's review and approval tools are absolutely clutch. You can send a batch of clips for review, get comments directly in line, and then finalize the entire queue. This avoids that classic back and forth by email where versioning becomes a nightmare. Competitors sometimes let you do comments but then force you to export zips and re-upload. With Vizard, it is all in platform so nothing gets lost. Alright, final recap. Upload your long video, let Vizard auto-detect and suggest viral clips, polish the best ones with captions, and then auto-schedule them through the content calendar. It is fast, it is practical, and it stops your content backlog from turning into absolute chaos. If you have been spending hours cutting clips manually or paying editors to do repetitive tasks, Vizard is the kind of tool that pays for itself and saves time very quickly. If you found this walkthrough helpful, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and drop a comment about what kind of content you want to repurpose next. I will try to do a follow-up where I walk through a real episode and show the exact edits I make before scheduling. Oh, and a last practical note. Test a couple of clips first to see what format your specific audience really digs. Don't just assume one style fits all platforms. With tools like Vizard handling the heavy lifting, you can actually run those tests without losing your weekends. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one, where I break down a full episode into a week's worth of social content, step by step. Peace out.